Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Is Terrence Crawford being set up? That's the question. Are they setting this man up for success or setting him up for failure? Now, you make sure and like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Leave that donation for that white rice and curry goat. Y'all thought I was going to say fried rice and chicken wings. Now, leave that donation for that white rice and curry goat with my little watercress, lettuce, and tomatoes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Look, what's going on out here? Y'all, you see every day this crap is changing in boxing. Check this out. This is what you got at 154. The WBO, the IBF, the WBC, the WBA. Crawford's the WBA champion. Fundora is the WBC World Super Welterweight champion. Bakram Murtazaliev, the IBF champion. And Fundora, the WBO. So Fundora has a WBC and WBO. Crawford has a WBA. But what happened just a couple of days ago is the WBO came out and mandated Sebastian Fundora and Terrence Crawford. They got to go to and try to reach an agreement, or it goes to purse bid. Reason being, the WBO is saying they don't want to have two champions. Now, let me explain something to you. I think the guy's name is Paco Villarcarcel. He never closes his mouth. Anytime you see him, his mouth is always wide open and shit. Anyway, tight-skinned Villarcarcel, whatever his last name is, right? We know he loves Terrence Crawford. I think if he could, he would tongue kiss him. Like, he can't get enough of goddamn Terrence Crawford. That's because Terrence Crawford represented for years as a WBO champion at 147 pounds. And he well represented that belt. He well represented himself as a champion inside and outside the ring. You didn't hear Crawford getting caught up in no fights, nothing with no legal issues, no family issues, no children issues, no financial problems, nothing. People just don't like Crawford because they're miserable. So when I look here and I see that the WBO mandated the Crawford Fundora bout, at first I'm like, damn. Crawford seems to be in a, Canelo or bust type mission. And I was like, okay, well, is a secret society out here trying to ruin Terrence Crawford? Because now they putting him in there with Fundora. Now, let me tell y'all this, right? Some people believe Fundora is a joke. I call him Cockroach Man, but I say that Cockroach Man can fight. But some people feel Fundora is a joke. He's not that good. Yeah, someone's going to knock him out. There's something about Fundora. Okay? Yeah, I think Tim Tszyu was on his way to knocking him out. But even though Tim Tszyu had the hole in his head and Fundora's face was busted up pretty good, his nose was busted up pretty good, Fundora showed me something in that Tim Tszyu fight that I think could be a bit of an issue for Crawford. Now, I'm not saying Fundora beats Crawford, but I know most people out there aren't giving Fundora a chance, right? I'm going to say this. Fundora is the man 6'5", 6'6", 82, 83-inch reach. Crawford's reach is like 73, 74 inches. Fundora started jabbing, and he was staying behind that jab. And let me tell you, I don't care who gets in the ring with Fundora. If he stays behind that jab, they will have a tough time closing the gap. I don't care who it is. Unless they can, like Mike Tyson, man, get small and get underneath his shots and work your way in. But other than that, that's not gonna fly. You see, Terrence Crawford has always had an advantage in his fights where he's able to out-jab people, not just because of his timing and his accuracy, but because of those long-ass Omaha, Nebraska arms. He's not going to have that advantage here with Fundora. So that makes it very interesting to me. Very interesting. Now, if Fundora decides to, turn stupid, which he does at times, and he will go from being a 6'5", towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora, and he'll kind of, shrink himself up to become a goddamn 5'1", Aesop Pitbull Cruz type of fighter, well then Fundora gets tranquilized. I give it 2 rounds. But I have a feeling Fundora's going to come out, and he's been working on, staying behind his jab. Now, if he and Crawford can sort all this out, well, then we're going to see just how the fight materializes. But I got to wonder what all is going on. But I do think the WBO is looking out for Crawford. I think they want Crawford to be their champion, not just his interim champion. They want him to be their champion. Now, if Crawford beats this is what makes it interesting, right? Because you got to say, okay, well, what's going on with Canelo? Because Crawford had tunnel vision. If in fact they decide to go forward with the fight, Crawford and what's his name, Fundora, well, then they'll scrap. But Fundora may drop that WBO belt and say, I don't want to fight Crawford. I want to do something different. Well, then now the WBO belt becomes vacant. And Crawford will end up fighting. If Tim Tszyu beats Bakram Murtazaliev, Crawford will probably end up fighting the winner of that fight. Or the WBO may just elevate Crawford. So then you'll have Crawford with the WBA and the WBO straps. But it's going to, either way it goes, when you look at the position Terence Crawford's in, because that Canelo fight, I have a feeling Earl Spence is going to fight Canelo. Because that means Earl Spence and Fundora, all that shit, that means something's falling out. There's something happening behind the scenes. I'm telling you there's something happening behind the scenes. The PBC is trying to look out for their own guys. Earl Spence especially. Getting him in a fight with Fundora for two titles. But then you see the WBOs out here saying, no, you guys aren't going to do that. Terence Crawford's our guy. So you guys blocked him, right? Now we're going to block you. And we're going to give him we're going to make him the mandatory and say, hey, we're mandating this fight. They need to go to come to agreement to go to purse bid. If not, what the WBO just did is they just blocked the PBC from getting Earl Spence an opportunity at becoming a unified champion at 154. And now he just fights Sebastian Fundora for the WBC strap if they still choose to make Fundora and Spence if Fundora drops the WBO. Then after that, then you got Virgil Ortiz, who'll probably be made the mandatory to face the winner of Spence Fundora. And then Tim Tszyu will be out there to breeze in the IBF if he beats Murtazaliev. But the bottom line is, I think Terence Crawford's in a good position. Because if it works out the way I would like, which is for Crawford and Fundora, if Canelo ain't going to fight him, let Crawford fight Fundora. You know why? Because I think that's motivational for Crawford. See, I keep talking about with Terence Crawford. What's his motivation? You know what I'm saying? What is Terence Crawford's motivation? And I'm going to tell you right now, I think for him to fight Fundora for the WBC and WBO strap, which would make him unified with 3 titles at 154, I think that would be Terence Crawford's motivation. Because for him to just come and fight Boot Sinners, there ain't no motivation there. To just come and fight Tim Tszyu, there's no motivation there. But to fight Fundora for 2 belts, I think that's all the motivation in the world. That's why I hope Fundora and Crawford in that fight comes off. If Crawford beats Fundora, they might have 3 or 4 belts. As long as there's no politics and secret society shit get involved and start stripping Fundora and doing craziness. Crawford will have 3 or 4 belts at 154. And then after that, he'll be fighting, Turki Al-Sheikh, I'm sure, have no problem if Crawford and Turki Al-Sheikh still have that great relationship. Because, once you got a turkey in your life, every day is Thanksgiving, right? Then Crawford and I think will fight. I know that they'll set up the undisputed show on that 154 I think Tim Tszyu is going to beat Murtazaliev between Crawford and Tim Tszyu. Isn't that amazing how that come full circle? With Tim Tszyu and Crawford, 2 guys who I think will kind of be railroaded a bit, will get the opportunity to scrap for the undisputed distinction at 154. Because Tim Tszyu should have had his opportunities. But it is what it is. Anyway, let's see how all this plays out. because I personally think it's very, very interesting when you really take a look at what we have here. And I think because Crawford turned 37, he's not looking to hang around the sport very long. He's looking to get big money or legacy fights. I think this would be a big money fight for him and Fundora for those belts. And I think it helps with legacy, but then for him to go on and fight for undisputed. But you look at Erickson Lubin's got to be miserable because he ain't getting the opportunities. This guy here under the WB, Abbas Baru, Vito Malenki, Radza Butev hasn't been doing much of anything, so forget him. Earl Spence, I think they're trying to take Earl Spence and push him to Canelo. That's what I think. It's either that or Earl Spence is done with fighting. Lubin, Zoo, Josh Kelly, Zayas, Lubin, Earl Spence again. So we just got to wait and see what happens. But who knows? Fundora and the PBC, they may say, you know what, we're going to still push Fundora for Spence for the WBC strap and allow Fundora to vacate the WBO, either elevate Crawford to that or have Crawford fight somebody for the WBO, the vacant WBO. I don't know what's going to happen. But I think Crawford is just going to be one step closer to becoming, that's crazy, right? 3-time undisputed. That's absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. And even trying to understand the WBO and for them to come now and just to go and mandate that, I don't understand. I don't understand. They want them to try to strike an agreement, man, and in 30 days. It's like, where'd that come from? You know, for them to enforce this mandatory bout. Like, I just don't understand where it came from. But it seems like some of these sanctioning bodies only want to have one champion per division. Yet they still have the interim title, right? But they want one champion per division. So get rid of the goddamn interim champion. Like, you don't need that. That's just another money grab for them. But anyway, we'll see what happens, man. Crawford, 4-division champion, could end up becoming 3-time undisputed before he gets Canelo. But we just got to wait and see if the sides agree to the fight. But don't sleep on Fundora, man. All these champions, man, you got some young champions out there, 24 to 27 years old, man. Fundora, you got Shakir, you got Haney. All these cats are young. Berlanga, Jaime Munguia. You know, it's just going to be very, very interesting to see how everything plays out. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. And something I'm going to tell you that you guys are going to find interesting. The WBO considers Crawford a super champion still and has previously declared that if Fundora rejects fighting Crawford upon the super champion's request, the WBO will strip Fundora of his belt. So with this right here, the damn WBO, like I told you, they love Terrence Crawford. And they still got him recognized as a super champion at 147. And that they're forcing the fight for Fundora and Crawford. If not, Fundora is going to be stripped. Isn't that crazy? Looks like some good things are happening for Terrence Crawford, where it looks like they have the right people looking out for him. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Crawford's in a win-win situation. Let's see how it plays out in the breeze.